Hey crew, this is my second video on the evening of the 19th of September. Um, in the first video I talked a lot about publishing in Wales. You asked me a few questions and I'm going to answer those fairly quickly. First of all, you mentioned Gareth's soccer. Gareth is actually going on this 6-week trip with Linda and my parents and all of his cousins, and they're leaving in 2 weeks or something, and so he's got a game tomorrow and a couple more games I think, and then he's done for the season. And I think his coach isn't very happy about it, that he's leaving. He's been supportive, but not surprisingly he doesn't want him leaving in the middle of the season. And so he did not start the last game, and he's okay with that. He understands it. But yeah, I think he's doing really well. I'm really pleased with his attitude and his commitment. And actually, it was kind of funny this weekend. On Saturday, I said, "Hey, let's go out and work out on the equipment, at work, and I'm going to work out. And you want to come with me, and you can work on the elliptical machine." And he was like, "Okay." And I took him out, and he did it for half an hour. He did intervals, and he did it with kind of fairly low resistance. It's amazing how few calories he burns because he weighs 120 pounds or something. So it takes a lot more effort to burn more calories. But he worked hard, and then Saturday evening he's like, "Can we go do that again tomorrow, Dad?" And I was like, "Sure." So we went out and he did it, and he actually worked even harder on Sunday. So that was kind of cool, I think it's good for him to experience that, and it's nice that he was enjoying it. So maybe we'll do it again, in coming weekends. I coached Terran's soccer today again, and we got slaughtered by this team with a couple Hispanic boys on it who could just score at will, pretty much. But it was actually really good, and actually through the first 3 quarters of the game, they were only ahead, I think 2-3, and then the last quarter he put both of these boys at forward, or they play with two defenders and 3 midfielders, is kind of 3 forwards is what they do. I play with a forward, a defender, and 3 mids, because it keeps guys kind of spread out a little bit more. And their boys, they scored and I had a couple weak players playing. My defender was kind of a weak player, and the guy who I was going to have play goalie didn't want to play, so I put one of the girls who never played goalie in, and they scored 6 goals kind of at the end of the game. But it was actually really good because their coach was really mellow and was not, he was not getting overexcited. He was trying to help them do the right thing. So I didn't feel, it wasn't like they were getting all intense and excited about scoring all these goals. They just were, it was just very matter of fact the way they did it, and they were just working and doing well. But we shut them down for 3 quarters of the game, and we had no business doing that. So it was kind of fun, and I was really proud of the way our kids played. So they're having fun. That's Terran's game. I wanted to talk, Carew and the T-tones, which you seem to be enamored with certain parts of women's anatomy, which I don't really get, to tell you the truth. I mean, you got 5 kids. I mean, you'd think you'd seen enough of that. But, if that's what floats your boat. He did not make it into the group. He was one of 11 kids who got called back. They only took 4. They only had 4 slots, and apparently they sent him a really nice email telling him that he had a voice that was definitely high enough quality to be in their group, and that they were unhappy that they didn't have enough spots for him. But told him to keep singing, and I think asked him to audition again in the future. So I could be wrong about that. Maybe they didn't ask him again to audition in the future. I don't know. I think that was my impression. I never saw the email. This is all third hand from Sarah. So it's yeah, but he was actually really happy. He felt good about the whole experience, and felt that it was really he was like, I don't need that affirmation. I'm okay doing what I'm doing. And apparently he's finding himself having a lot of time on his hands. I think I told you that he had kind of for him, a relatively easy course load. He was taking a 300 level anthro class, a 100 level anthro class, physics, and his kind of, they call it a core course or something, where he's reading all these different books, the classics, and discussing them with his other freshmen. And that's all. And the thing is, the physics is he's had before. 100 level anthro he's had. So the 300 level anthro is probably, and the other classes are probably his toughest classes, and he's just not having a problem keeping up. So he's been playing a lot of guitar. Apparently he's found some friends, which I know, it's shocking that he's hanging out with a lot. So that's cool. So you asked about, while we're on the subject of kids, before I get to the last thing I want to talk about, Galen's night out. You talked about us driving around town and squirting people with the water weenie out the window of the car. And, I remember doing that, but I don't ever remember actually squirting anyone. And I think that you and Mike Elvin did that with a fire extinguisher when I wasn't around. We drove around town with the water weenie, and I remember the turkey with the massive God, water weenie, hand of God water weenie, and the turkey baster nozzle popping off of it and spraying around inside the car. But I don't ever remember actually squirting someone who I didn't know with that particular water weenie. I don't, and it's the kind of thing that I was probably too chicken to do anyway. Maybe you and Mike Elvin did that sort of thing, but I don't remember myself doing it. It could be that I'm blocking it out. Regardless, I'm curious to hear how your mea culpas went, and I think it's interesting that I understand that you kind of have to go around with your son because you have to share in the mea culpas. Because it's a reflection of you, because your son is only 14, that he did this. But at the same time, as you said, when you get a group of 3 teenage boys together, their collective IQ is reduced. Well, their individual IQs are each reduced by 1/3, and their collective IQ is probably non-existent. It's not additive. It's like oil and water putting their IQs together. They're all separate, and they all get smaller. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of too bad they didn't get beaten. Although probably better for the person who would have been doing the beating. So the last thing you asked about was this Indian Land Tenure, and this was a presentation of our Atlas project. And I thought I put together a video about that where I gave you lots of detailed information. I may have made it private because it's kind of, there's organizational things that I probably shouldn't talk about publicly. But essentially it was a presentation of the Atlas project that we've been working on for 8 years. And it went really, really well. They really liked it. They liked the things we've done with it. It's a database of over 600 place names, and we've produced all these different products from it, but not the atlas that they funded us to produce, which is still coming. And we're supposed to have it done soon, really soon, and I'm not hearing anything about it, so I'm a little concerned that it's one of these things where it should have been done 3 years ago. We've got all the major pieces there. It just is a matter of sitting down for a month, pulling everything together, saying this is what we're going to produce, and producing it. Hasn't happened yet. So that was what that presentation was. It was fun to do it. It was fun because the executive director was there to see the presentation, and he thought it was good. Members of the board of trustees were there to see the work that had gone on, and it worked out really well. So that's that. I'm going to wrap this up and then do one more quick video this evening. I'm going to try to anyway. It's getting late. It's 10 o'clock. So, still dead.